Previously on the Subnautica Ultimate Challenge. Let's add some more rules to make it harder. Build a large number of miniature bases dotted across the map. I made it! I'm alive! Whoa, a rescue ship coming to pick us up. Hooray! Creepvine samples. Creepvine, creepvine, creepvine. Not creepvine. An escape rocket that can get us off the planet, shooting down every ship that tries to enter or leave.
Infected individuals may not disable the weapon.
Is it still following me? Yes, it is! Ow! Ah! Disease research facility. Sea Emperor, which produced an enzyme that could potentially cure the disease. It looks like our only hope for survival is to dive deeper. And now, part 6, the finale. Between the episodes, I traveled all around the Lost River gathering resources and built one more mini base towards the bulb zone entrance. This mini base overlooks a massive pit that descends hundreds of meters. And, well, we know we needed to dive deeper. The pit opens into a new biome full of lava and hot water. If it wasn't for my reinforced dive suit, I'd be taking damage constantly here. This is where we will build our deepest mini base. There's no sunlight here for a solar panel or plants to put in a bioreactor. Remember, I'm not allowed to use fish, but there's plenty of heat. We build our mini base at the edge of a massive cavern, and I mean massive. It's nearly 1 kilometer wide with a ceiling hundreds of meters tall. This cavern is home to the creature we see in the distance, the sea dragon Leviathan. As I'm setting up my base, you can hear it roar. Well, every scan means every scan, including this one. The sea dragon is the largest predator in Subnautica. One bite from its massive jaws means instant death, reinforced dive suit or no. And if you're wondering how it got the name dragon, well, leave it to this game to create a fire-breathing monster underwater. Ow, molten rock hurts. We freeze it with a small stasis field. Now we just need to charge up a big one and another warper! I don't know if that warper is still behind me, but I am not turning my back on this dragon. I have had hardcore runs end right here because I didn't take them seriously enough. I hit it with a fully charged stasis field and start scanning. Sea dragons are so big, it's easy to forget how incredibly fast they are. They can go from out of your vision to on top of you in just a few seconds. I'm lucky this one got stuck on a wall. I managed to finish the scan before a warper tags me again. I also scanned some lava lizards. Ow! Maybe not the best idea right now. I quickly run back to my base, which will protect me. I'm not sure how this tiny base protects me from that giant. Thank goodness for occasionally unrealistic game mechanics. Once the sea dragon is on its way, we set our course across the cavern. Our destination is a giant mountain of rock right in the center. This mountain contains a cave entrance that has a familiar green glow. In this cave, we find kyanite, the most advanced resource in the game. There are large kyanite nodes outside, but you can't harvest them without a prawn suit. The tunnels emerge into a cavern contained within the rock structure, and this cavern contains the alien thermal plant. I don't know if this vertical threshold counts as a surface, but since it's in a base that's in a cave, that's in a mountain, that's in another giant cavern, it's definitely not outdoors. Just look at this cute little guy. I love the little details that make the bases feel progressively more alien as you get to the deeper ones. This is the alien's power plant, using geothermal energy to power itself and all the other bases on the planet through the huge underground cables we've seen. We find a new type of alien tablet. This one is blue. It's nice of the aliens to color code their technology for us, isn't it?
Come here, to me.
Are you guys seeing this too? Like, is this part of the game, or have I just been awake way too long making this video? In the heart of the thermal plant, we get an update on the location of the primary containment facility that we're looking for. We also get blueprints for the aliens' power sources. Now we can create batteries and power cells out of their ion cubes. Finally, we find a teleportation arch. When powered, it takes us all the way back to the quarantine enforcement platform by the Mountain Islands base. Now we've got a shortcut back to the surface. Well, not the surface, but you know what I mean. I could use a little break from mortal danger at this point, so I head back to Why So Hard. Why not so hard, really?
Welcome aboard, Captain. detected.
After some resource gathering, we build the new ion batteries. These are just like regular batteries, except they last 5 times longer. Before we return to the depths, we're going to deal with an issue that has been bothering me for a while. You see, there's an achievement for building each of the Seamoth, Prawn suit, and Cyclops. So even though I'm not allowed to pilot them, I still need to craft them with the mobile vehicle bay. But when you deploy the mobile vehicle bay, it floats above the surface. So how can I use the mobile vehicle bay without breaking the surface to get to it? I've got a few ideas, so I pack up some materials and head out to the mountain island base. I first tried deploying it in the alien moon pool. Maybe I can build my vehicles in here, but the game quickly shuts that one down. It seems the mobile vehicle bay can only be deployed in open water. Well, at least the game agrees with me that this is not outdoors. Okay, backup plan. I'm going to deploy the mobile vehicle bay next to the shore, then go around through the alien base to get onto it. I'm looking for a place next to shore that has pretty deep water in front of it, because you can't build the Cyclops if it's too shallow. Ow! Okay, let's deploy and get moving. There's clearly fierce predators in these waters. Once above the surface, I carefully work my way along the rocky outcropping and onto the mobile vehicle bay. Now, to see if we can build— Whoa, what was that? Oh my god, it's another warper. Look out! Ow! I'll be honest with you guys. I've been playing this game a long time, but this jump scare freaked me out so much I had to turn off the game and catch my breath. Also, I would like to formally apologize to all warpers everywhere for my behavior and my unfortunate use of the term stupid bot. When I load back in, the warper seems to have vanished, so I turn around and make the long journey back up to try again. The big question is whether I have enough room here to build a Cyclops.
Cannot build here. Must be constructed in deeper water.
Oh, after all that, well, I at least build a Seamoth and get that achievement out of the way. I guess the game cares about the depth of the water the mobile vehicle bay is in, not where the Cyclops would be built. I leap back to shore and start the long walk back. Before moving on, we collect the databank entry for the Void, the biome that lies beyond the edge of the map. If you stay here too long, you'll be attacked by multiple ghost leviathans, which I'm sure I could handle as well as I did last episode. I better get out of here, huh? Now, what are we going to do about that Cyclops? Well, there's one more open water location we're allowed to use without breaking our no surfacing outdoors rule, and we'll count the entire area enclosed by the Aurora as indoors as well. So we travel southeast. Oh, hey Sammy. We'll try to stay out of your way and enter the Aurora, where we are allowed to surface and use the mobile vehicle bay. We deploy the bay on the very edge of the Aurora so that we can build our vehicles outside. Well, let's give this a try. Alright, that's Cyclops and Seamoth down. We can probably build the prawn suit in here too, though we didn't have enough space in our inventory to bring all the materials on this trip. This Cyclops will stay here forever since I'm not allowed to pilot it. I hope Sammy doesn't mind having a new neighbor. And so we can return triumphantly to Wait, this isn't Why So Hard. This is the quarantine enforcement platform. That's right, we're done with building. And there's only one surefire way to stop all these crazy warper attacks. Warpers will only attack those who are infected. So we need to cure ourselves, which means we need to find the primary containment facility. And that means we need to return to the lava zone and dive even deeper. We exit the thermal plant and the giant stone formation housing it. Luckily, there are no sea dragons in sight, though we can hear one roaring somewhere in here. Right beside our mini base, there's a crevice leading down into a hotter, deeper part of the lava zone. The crevice opens into a gigantic lava lake, and we see another sea dragon swimming in the distance. Ow! It is so hot down here, I am constantly taking damage, even with the reinforced dive suit. I'll need to get to my destination soon. Ow! The deadly sea dragon approaches. This time there are no walls nearby for him to get stuck on. I'll have to line up my shot carefully. Whoa, not a good time!
I am what you seek. Want to help you.
It is not very helpful to block me from seeing the monster that's trying to swallow me whole. Somehow I managed to hit it with a stasis rifle anyway. What are these visions? It said, I am what you seek. I seek a cure, lady. That boxy thing I just scanned is called a sonic deterrent. Apparently it's emitting a frequency that's supposed to repel the sea dragon. I know from experience it doesn't always work. Ow, can we get inside and stop taking damage, please? You can see the damage isn't even really faster than my healing rate, but it is annoying. Ow! Once inside the alien base, we use the blue tablet from the thermal plant to gain access. As we pass through the force field, there is so much to find here. First is a large ion cube node that is regenerated after you harvest it. This makes a renewable source of ion cubes, allowing you to make as many ion batteries as you want. If you have a prawn suit with a drill arm, which we don't. Rule 5! We learned that the Sea Emperor Leviathan produced an enzyme called enzyme 42, which seemed effective against the Kara bacteria. However, the Leviathan did not produce it in a concentrated enough form to actually cure the disease. The aliens believed that younger Sea Emperors would be able to produce the concentrated enzyme they needed. The older Leviathan had laid eggs, but they would only hatch under specific environmental conditions the aliens could not figure out. The focus of their research was to get these eggs to hatch, right up until the outbreak forced their evacuation. Beyond the ion cube node is another force field, and we need another blue tablet to unlock it. This means we'll need to go all the way back to a base with a fabricator in order to craft one. Or we would if I hadn't already crafted an extra and brought it with me. Beyond the force field is the surface of the primary containment itself. There's at least 2 or 3 roofs above our head at this point, so there's no way this breaks our outdoor surfacing rule. And this is where we meet the largest creature in Subnautica.
Are you here to play?
Well, play, torture myself with a ridiculous challenge, potato, potato. As we explore this humongous aquarium, we learn that it is connected to a pipe network carrying water to and from the ocean above. There are peepers swimming through these pipes, carrying nutrients from the ocean and enzyme 42 from the aquarium. This enzyme 42 is distributed throughout the volcanic crater that makes up the map, where it has been inhibiting the Kara bacteria. The peepers have been mediating a symbiotic relationship that's been keeping alive both the Sea Emperor and everything else that lives in this crater. It is how this area has thrived under the outbreak while the rest of the planet has died to the infection. But the enzyme 42 from this multi-millennial old Leviathan is not concentrated enough to cure the disease, only inhibit it. In order to cure ourselves and escape this planet, we need help from her offspring. Inserting an ion cube activates the incubator, allowing us to administer enzymes to the eggs. But what enzymes will cause them to hatch?
My young need to hatch.
The Sea Emperor uncovers an underwater teleportation arch, and we activate it with an ion cube. This means her hatchlings will have a way out of this aquarium and will be able to live in the open water. For this, she shows us how to create the hatching enzymes.
To you, I give the secret willingly.
The enzymes require samples from 5 different types of flora, but it's not that hard to get them. One of them, the sea crown, grows right here in the aquarium, and for each of the others there is a teleporter in this facility that connects to a biome where it grows. Like this one that takes us to the ghost field so we can collect a sample of ghostweed. After what we've been through, this young ghost Leviathan just doesn't seem as scary anymore. I've said ghost so many times now, the word has lost all meaning. Ghost, ghost, ghost. After gathering the ingredients, we use the aquarium arch, which takes us back to Mountain Island, just outside the quarantine enforcement platform. The exit is right by our Mountain Island mini-base. A convenient coincidence that I'm sure was not at all planned ahead by someone who has played this game a million times before.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
We put all the samples into the fabricator and craft the hatching enzymes. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Babies! You know, I remember on my first playthrough, when I had gotten through the endgame, the next day I was talking about it with a friend from work. I told him I had reached the largest and most powerful creature in the game. He asked, "Did you beat it?" A perfectly reasonable question for most video games, but I wasn't sure how to answer. I guess I could have said, if you're talking about the largest aggressive creature, the sea dragon, it's not something you're meant to beat so much as survive. Or if you're talking about the Sea Emperor, you don't beat it, you help hatch more of them. I was not so quick thinking that day and instead stammered out, yeah, I beat it. To me, the difficulty in answering such a simple video game question, did you beat the final boss, really encapsulates the ingenious innovation of this game's design. As the young Sea Emperors swim through the arch, they leave behind blobs of concentrated enzyme 42. This enzyme will not only cure our infection, but will now spread across the crater, curing the entire planet and perhaps the universe of the Kara bacteria. Yeah, this game's plot smoothly goes from surviving a crash to saving the universe. In more practical matters, let's try pushing this big button again. Okay, I'm cured. Just disable the weapon. Look, no need for a needle. I'm cured. You can just... Ow! Did you even sanitize that thing? We've successfully disabled the quarantine enforcement platform, meaning we can now escape without being shot down. So we return home, cured, to Why So Hard. We know the real reason why so hard. Because it was fun. Because it made entertaining videos. Because we could. Before we can win the game, there are a few more things we need to complete to satisfy all our rules. We start by adding the remaining base pieces that we've been missing. I told you we'd replace that L compartment later. We move on to gathering eggs after building our last base piece, the base-attached air pump. Wait a minute, air pump. Could I have been using a surface air pump this entire time to breathe at the surface without breaking it, effectively negating Rule 4? Well, no, obviously not, because of Rule 11. We all remember Rule 11, right? No floating air pumps? I'm an idiot. Anyway, with the base now complete, I next travel to the one biome I have not yet visited.
Detecting multiple Leviathan class life forms in the region. Are you certain whatever you're doing is worth it?
That PDA message means I'm in the dunes, a biome known for its sparse vegetation and abundance of reapers. We build our final mini-base in the sinkhole, the only place in the dunes that's even close to being lush. There are only 3 things we need here: the final cuttlefish egg, a unique PDA from a large wreck, and the data download from the final alien sanctuary cache. Ooh, we'll grab these ion cubes too. We see the occasional reaper in the distance, but luckily we avoid their attention. Back at home, we drop the cuttlefish egg in with the rest of the eggs we've collected, and pretty soon we've completed all of Rule 9. You know what? I think it's about time we start building that escape rocket. But where can we build it without violating our rules? Well, back to the Aurora. We start by building the Prawn suit, landing it neatly on top of the Cyclops.
You will have to make do with self-destruct.
He looks like he enjoys it up there. We then redeploy the mobile vehicle bay so that it is facing inside the frame of the ruined Aurora. I hope this works. Yes! Looks like the water here was deep enough, and the ladder onto the platform is just under the ceiling. It counts as enclosed by the Aurora, and so it counts as indoors. We're almost out of here. There's an important final step before we finish the rocket. We need to go through the checklist and make sure we really have all the databank entries and blueprints. If you're going to spend a long time looking at your databank, I recommend sitting in a chair. In this game, your hunger and thirst do not decrease while sitting. And it turns out that, yeah, there's a lot that I missed. So I have to leave my base and pick up one of these, pick up one of these, scan this, pick up one of these, basically just assume I went through the entire map again. But when we're done, we have finally completed the 100% requirement. Yes, we still need the achievements you get for beating the game. Obviously, we'll get those at the end. After a lot of resource gathering and building, all that's left to do is to craft the final piece of our Neptune escape rocket. After 19 hours, 14 mini bases, and hundreds of databank entries, we are finally ready to beat this game. We take one last look at our mega base and head back to the Aurora. Even Sammy wants to give us a hug goodbye. He settles for giving our Cyclops a nice pat on the back. We need the fabricator on the Cyclops to make the shield generator, a key ingredient for the last stage of the rocket. Remember, boarding the Cyclops is fine. Our rule only says we can't pilot it. We build the last stage of the rocket and go inside. The pacing of the game here is just amazing, having you set up subsystem after subsystem that aren't really necessary from a game mechanics point of view, but give you a feel for the importance of what's about to happen.
Primary computer systems active.
I prepare my time capsule, which will be sent to the Subnautica servers to someday be discovered by another player. What a great way to build community in a game that's fundamentally about isolation. Finally, we take our seat and launch our rocket. What a fantastic run this has been. Something I really loved about the rules was that, besides the creepvine part, none of them made the game too tedious. We explored everything, built bases everywhere, and even though the rules were pretty thorough, we didn't have to spend a lot of time maintaining, upgrading, or getting in and out of vehicles, which made the endgame go by a lot more quickly. Thank you so much for coming with me all the way to the end of this. I am so honored to be able to share my love of this game with so many people. I'm proud to say I've completed this challenge. Well, maybe. Okay, there's something I need to get off my chest. Remember when we were trying to build our vehicles on Mountain Island? You may have noticed a suspicious cut as I got onto the mobile vehicle bay for the first time, right here. Well, here's the full unedited footage. I hadn't realized I would go through the climbing animation even when coming from dry land. Did I break the surface here? It's clear my head didn't go under the water. Maybe I was just kind of hanging over the side. There was a splash, but that could have just been from the motion of the vehicle bay. So, did I break the surface and fail the challenge? As always, that judgment is up to you, the viewers and the community. If you think I failed, well, then I guess this challenge is still uncompleted. This game has been out for a long time now. Maybe you haven't played it in a while, or maybe you've never played it before, but maybe it's time to dig up an old CD or Steam installation and fire up a new hardcore run, because maybe, just maybe, you could be the first one to complete the Subnautica Ultimate Challenge. One last time, thanks for watching.
What is a wave without the ocean? A beginning without an end. They are different, but they go together. Now you go among the stars, and I fall among the sand. We are different, but we go together.